Hello, my name is Beth Zurkowski. My author name is Berserk. So I'm going to tell a story to you, the first two chapters. The Shade Riders and the Electrifying Werewolves. Bardsville, year 2047, Chapter 1. Doggone it! Nova and her best friend Takesha came out of the locker room and jumped when a loud wolf howled just outside the Bardsville Middle School. Their feet landed with a slap on the hard tile. Chills coursed down Nova's back. The school gym was small, and sound didn't echo loudly like in a bigger, newer gym. Was that a wolf? Takesha frowned and trembled. I think so, Nova said. The girls were warming up before the volleyball game. It was the end of November around 5 p.m. on a school night. Nova gazed at the other players and the spectators. The bleachers were about a quarter full. Nova's and Takesha's moms were at home. When the wolf howled, spectators and players alike stopped what they were doing, bumping or blocking a volleyball, munching on popcorn, or sipping a beverage. They tensed, listened, and whispered. The two girls wore light blue and white uniforms. Nova's auburn curly hair bounced, exposing her large brow ridge as she stopped in her tracks. Takesha, with her brown hair in a ponytail, stopped and grabbed Nova's arm. Sounded like it was just outside, you know, Takesha said, still shivering. Yes, it did. Nova was deep in thought as the two girls hustled over to the net to practice. Like a full moon, the white volleyball flew through the air and was just about to hit Nova right in the face. Wake up, Nova, Takesha said. We gotta work on our spikes. At the last instant, Nova hit the ball away over the net back toward Takesha. The wolf howled again. I'm not taking my bike home, stupid wolf, Takesha said. Takesha swatted the ball back to Nova, who caught a glimpse of the coach through the window of his office. Nova grabbed the ball and tossed it from hand to hand. Maybe we should ask Coach Hartzell about the wolf, you know. The coach waltzed into the gym from his office, whistling a tune like he had never heard the howl. Did you hear the wolf outside? Nova asked. What? Oh, that. A pack of dogs has been killing off livestock in the area, according to the Wisconsin State Farmer newspaper. Don't worry. Wolves are shy and stay away from people. Now let's huddle up. He grinned, rubbing his hands together in anticipation of the game against Kenosha. Nova looked over at Takesha, who shrugged. Her eyes grew big with fear. She gulped. The two girls squeezed into the crowd of players. Okay, team, we haven't won a single game yet, but we are getting much better the more we practice. I can taste victory today. Now remember, we're only playing for fun. There's no pressure, okay? Nova remembered he said that the last time, and every time they lost the game, he took it so hard. He would curl his upper lip and peer down his wrinkled nose, his narrowed eyes filled with contempt. He would throw up his hands in disgust, resignation, and storm out of the gym with a beet red face. The players always tried their best, but the other team always played better. The coach checked his clipboard. Mary, Shelley, Takesha, Helen, Roxanne, and Paula will go first. Christina, Lynn, Cheyenne, Nikki, Katie, and Nova are the substitutes tonight. Coach Hartzell took a deep breath and exhaled. He stuck his hand out for everyone to cover with their own. The chant began, Bardsville Bandicoots, Bardsville Bandicoots, Bardsville Bandicoots, busting butts. Then teamwork, teamwork, teamwork! Yay! The other team did the same, except they chanted for the Kenosha Trojans. who wore royal blue and scarlet red uniforms. All 6 players of both teams walked to their stations on the floor. The substitutes waited in the wings on folding chairs in front of the bleachers for their chance to play. "This is the last game, always a bench warmer. Will I ever get to compete?" Nova mumbled. As she waited, she looked around and decided to spend the time on her magical abilities. This year, she wanted to be a fantastic sorceress. Last year, even though she wanted to be a psychic, Nova found out she was half Neanderthal, a hybrid vigor according to her mentor, Leandra. Modern man was only about 4% Neanderthal, but she was half. She was more powerful than other Neanderthals who had logical magic. She could make strange things happen, like popping a bike tire or turning on a radio if she thought of one thing and then changed her thought to something else. She was new at this magic concept. Nova didn't know what else she could do. Nova was going to attempt to make someone drop their popcorn. No, that would be considered a coincidence. Nova needed something else. Maybe make someone's hair blow around? But it would be much better if the person sat in front of her, because she was in front of the bleachers sitting on foldable chairs. How about untying someone's shoelaces? First, she would have to go into a trance, but those did not come easily or on command. Then she would have to think of something else as she was concentrating on the thing in front of her to make something happen. Usually it was not in her control, and she had to make sure it wasn't a coincidence. As Nova thought about what she would do, Takesha and the players on the floor were playing the game and rotating around. The sounds grew louder. Nova heard squeaking sneakers, grunts, and a referee whistle echoed across the cramped gym. When Takesha got close to Nova, she yelled, "Hey, Nova, see those 2 girls over there from the Kenosha Trojans?" Nova turned to see. "See the blonde-haired giant and the overweight girl on the end? Watch out for them, they are very good." "Oh, okay," said Nova. Looking at the competition, she could easily kick their butts if only she got the chance. "Wait a minute. They almost look like Neanderthals with their funny oblong heads, the protruding brow ridge, and the barrel chests." "Really?" "They are kind of far away and the net keeps hiding their faces," Takesha said, moving around into position. As the game progressed, a bored Nova went into a trance. Her eyes glassed over and her mind drifted to the homework she yet had to do. She was going to be up all night working on memorizing the names of bones in the human skeleton. A cheer went up on the Bardsville team. Nova's teammates on chairs stood up, screamed, and clapped. Nova came out of her thoughts. She remembered half seeing the Trojan team. A skinny brown-haired girl dove for the ball. She touched the net with her hand. The girl on the Trojans team sat on the court floor, clasping her knee. The girl's knee pads had somehow fallen down. Were they too big to stay up? She limped toward the bleacher, then took a seat. Did Nova make her knee pads fall down? She wondered. The Trojans coach motioned to another girl on the bench. She leaped up and ran to the floor. Coach turned to the referee. "Referee Rachel will sub for Gina." The game continued. 13 minutes later, Nova lost interest and went into another trance, thinking about riding Shade, her horse, on freshly plowed fields. The crowd went wild in the bleachers. Nova woke from her trance. Her teammates danced in front of their seats. The Bandicoots won 2 more points to the Trojans' 0. Nova remembered half seeing what happened. The players looked down when they should have looked up, causing the Bandicoots to score again. Clash! Nova smiled. The game continued. Mary on the Bandicoot team bumped the ball toward one of the big girls when the door of the school flew open and a gust of wind blew in. Mary scored another point, but the ball was left to roll away. Nova saw streetlights and the trees in silhouette through the open door. she smelled the fresh air and manure from all the horses people used to get around. A loud wolf howl made everyone gasp in fear. As the door slowly closed, a black form entered at the last second. It looked like it didn't normally walk on just 2 legs, and more than once came forward on all 4 legs. The door slammed shut behind the shaggy animal. It didn't even notice. The slavery beast grabbed the metal vertical bar of the weight scale near the wall in its fangs and shook it until the bar snapped in 2. Sparks flared out from the scale as people screamed, tossed their food or drinks, and ran toward the locker rooms. Then the werewolf went for the electrical cords on the scoreboard. It flashed off and on. The score ran Bandicoots 3, Trojans 0 at the last moment. Then the board went dead. The werewolf spoke in a gravelly voice. "Where's Nova?" Takesha made a run for it into the girls' locker room. The 2 big girls from the Kenosha Trojans that Takesha told Nova about began to change into wolf monsters on the gym floor. Mary fell to the floor and lay there frozen in fear. The black werewolf sniffed her and walked away. Mary got up and ran to the locker room. "No wonder they look like Neanderthals," Nova said. "They look like their creator." They crouched onto all 4s, and gray or brown fur sprouted from their bodies as their faces changed into snouts full of sharp teeth. Nova was going to get an opportunity to kick their butts after all, but it was 3 against 2. She was the only one other than the coach who stayed on the gym floor. The wolves stalked closer, watching Nova. The black wolf broke off and chased Coach Hartzell. He was forced into a corner near a bubbler. The gray and brown wolves growled at Nova as she stepped back. She stared at the beasts and tried to think of what to do. Everywhere she gazed at the werewolves' bodies, they turned around and nipped it with their snouts. What the? Was she doing this? Holy chaos! It was like when she popped her tire on the way home last year. Nova wondered what kind of damage she was doing. The beasts shook their head with huge growls and advanced menacingly. Obviously not enough. Nova looked all around and tried to find something to use as a weapon. She saw a wooden chin-up pole on the wall and raced over to grab it out of the holes that held it. The werewolves sulked closer to both Nova and Mr. Hartzell. "It's now or never." Nova took the pole and leaned it across the cinder block wall, then slammed her foot down on it, snapping it in 2. She couldn't believe she did that. Man, did that hurt. Nova hopped around on her good foot. The pain went up her leg, into her knee, and then her hip. It felt like her leg was on fire. The pieces of the pole were 2 different sizes, but they were both pointed and jagged at the edges. Nova hoped it would hurt them enough for her to get away. She didn't know if she'd be able to save her coach, though. Nova held the 2 sticks in either hand and waited for the wolves to go for her throat. The wolf cornering Coach Hartzell rose up on its back legs and put its front paws on his shoulder as it breathed, chomped its jaws, and licked the coach's face. He screamed like a girl. The wolves advanced towards Nova. She braced for impact. Nova placed her feet into a martial arts stance she saw in a movie one time. The brown wolf crouched ready to spring. It launched its body into the air, growling and drooling. Nova slammed a stick into its neck. Gray blood streamed down her arm. The werewolf fell to the floor and didn't move. "Dear Vulcan, what the—" The gray one came over to chomp on her. Weird, its hot breath smelled like garlic. Nova stabbed it in the neck, too. It fell to the floor and didn't move. Then Nova remembered stories about werewolves that could only be killed by silver. The werewolves she stabbed began to awaken. She yanked the bloody, dripping wooden stakes out of their necks and rammed them down their throats. She felt a current of static electricity inside their mouths. What was that? While the beast struggled to remove the sticks from their throats, she ran to help her coach. Her shoes slipped in a puddle of the gray werewolf's blood. Nova managed to grab the coach's wolf by the scruff of the neck and hold him off. With wide eyes at what Nova did, Coach Hartzell ran into the boys' locker room and peeked out through a crack in the half-open door. "Nova, don't do something stupid. Go to the girls' locker room." "Can you give me your keys? I have an idea." Nova held out her hand. The wolf she had by the scruff of his neck wiggled free, and the three angry werewolves huddled up to convene in a conference of barks and yaps. "Only if you run to the girls' locker room." The coach wearily watched the werewolves. "I will, after I do it." The coach tossed her the keys and slammed the door shut. The gray, bloody steaks lay on the gym floor. Now that made three angry werewolves growling low in their throats as they approached her. Nova fumbled through the keys. "Where is it?" The two she stabbed didn't appear to be bleeding anymore, but they sure looked ticked off. They came even closer. Nova had to make a guess. She ran to the gym exit. The black werewolf had come in previously. She left the building and slammed the door. She kept looking for the right key as she leaned against it. This might be it, she tried, but it didn't fit. The door was hit hard on the inside. It opened 3 inches. Nova fought the door and slammed it closed again. "Here." She shoved the key in the slot. Success. She twisted just in time for another hit on the inside. This time the door didn't budge. It locked. She dropped the keys to the ground and ran to get her bike. The werewolves would have to find a way out, and she would get a head start. The people in the school would be safe because she knew the werewolves wanted her. Nova wondered who wanted to kill her this time. Where was Leandra? Would she be able to help her with these werewolves? After all, she was Nova's mentor and guide when it came to magic. Nova looked at her watch on her wrist. Should she call her? Leandra's voice came over the watch, and her eye peered out of the screen. This was a high-tech watch Leandra gave to Nova last year after it was smashed. Leandra replaced it quickly because Nova relied on it so much. It was a walkie-talkie, could tell the weather, played the radio and games and other things. "Just got back, wondering if okay." "Yeah, werewolf tried pulling me into the bushes. He failed." "Hurry, come to Leandra's house and be safe." If Leandra was talking strange, Nova had no time to think about it. Nova got back on her bike and pedaled fast. She could hear one of the werewolf's long nails clicking on the road behind her. It was the black one, or one that probably jumped out of the ravine somehow. Nova turned down Barnacle Road, traveled a half-mile, and streaked down Leandra's driveway as fast as her muscular legs could carry her. Nova kept going. In the woods on both sides of the driveway, she heard sticks cracking, branches creaking, and leaves rustling. She tried to pedal faster at every sound, her heart beating frantically. Finally, she came to the clearing where Leandra's house was supposed to be. It loomed before her. She tossed her bike to the side and sprinted to where the phantom building resided, looking for the door. She struggled to find the invisible opening. Leandra received Neanderthal blood and was always had trouble controlling her magic. She had to send bad magic down ley-lined paths in her backyard. Nova grabbed her watch and told Leandra she was in the front yard. The three werewolves had followed her. They growled menacingly and slowly approached, heads down. A Neanderthal woman answered the door. Neanderthals all use logical magic. Was she going to cast a spell on her? Nova wished she had more training from Leandra. Nova backed up, remembered the werewolves, and stopped trying to figure out what to do. The very bad Neanderthals sent folklore monsters to Earth, to the lower echelons, to spread fear and superstitions among modern man. Nova didn't recognize this woman. Something was wrong, very wrong. Nova stepped back, a feeling of utter dread moving up her spine.